What's going on, everyone? So, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going into who killed masculinity in video games, and going back to when video games were full of, males. Definitely when it was just mostly, except just masculine men. Which is where the creativity and the light comes from for creating. Was in the gaming industry. There was no woke, DEI, gay, trans, none of this garbage that you see that has watered down the industry and has hurt real awesome developers that have been in the industry for such a long time that is just spreading everywhere. This guy does a really good job on giving you a highlight from the time that that happened all the way to getting to this point now. And I've been gaming for, let's see, since 1994. So over 30 years now. I was born in 89. And I've seen it all the way from that point all the way to here now. So it's good to have somebody that knows how it came from that point to this point and seeing something like this. And those of you that haven't, tune in and get ready for this. This is an awesome video. And it gives you an idea about the attack of masculinity in the gaming industry. And when that happens, everything goes downhill because that's the highest quality that you're going to have for development when games were about gaming. You see, there was no white liberal dumb bitches in there. All this faggot trans, just all this stuff. It's just, if you want to do that in your own world, but get the hell out of the gaming industry and the development industry because it's just nothing but corruption. And it's not diversity, it's demonic, it's devilry, and it's witchcraft. It's what it is. Stop trying to hide behind labels. I call you out exactly what you are. Let's get into this, y'all. Like, subscribe if you like this type of content. Real gamers out there, and how you would like to see us get back to the masculine principle. And not where these guidelines were solved too, where you can't even talk crap to nobody anymore. You just see all the masculinity is just watered down nowadays compared to back then. Let's go, y'all.
Does anybody else feel like masculinity has slowly been drained from modern video games? I was looking at recent staff photos of Ubisoft and Halo Infinite developers, and it's all starting to make sense. It's a bunch of fat white liberal women. And white liberal women have no interest in masculine, manly.
Oh, almost threw up there. But yeah. Do we see this? Says a lot, doesn't it?
Male characters. They wouldn't even know how to write one if they tried. This is why Rockstar, a company founded by
Let's get God's light back up in there.
men that at least in 2018 was still mostly run by men, created the magnum opus Red Dead Redemption 2, a game with a manly, well-written main protagonist, Arthur Morgan. If you want to see the seismic shift away from masculine characters, honestly, all you need to do is play a few games from 2006, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Consider how many masculine military games came out in the 2000s.
I'll let you guys know this too. I was actually number one in the world on Gears 2 Warzone when it came out. I stayed up 72 straight hours to do that. I also did game battles, MLG as well. I was one of the top players in Gears 1, but I didn't get into professional stuff. But me, a buddy of mine, and other people, we played it very serious. It was very manly. You could talk crap to people. They didn't get in their feelings over it. The masculine energy was there. Real men were in the gaming industry like they are today, but all this other garbage was not filtered, in here with all this feminine nonsense. And those are some great times in gaming from a masculine perspective, where it was like very authentic. And yeah, I do miss those times sometimes. It's still around, but we got to get all this other stuff out of here.
Medal of Honor, Call of Duty, Brothers in Arms, Gears of War, Operation Flashpoint, Rainbow Six, Ghost Recon, Splinter Cell. All of these games were starring men and had themes like brotherhood, duty, sacrifice, honor. Almost all of these franchises have either been killed off, turned into multiplayer games, or went woke. I often wonder why so few.
You see it. I mean, the Western gaming's masculinity has been sacrificed big time. I still love Japanese gaming. I've always loved the Japanese gaming the most. There's just no competition. But at least at that time, there was a balance between Japanese development and the Caucasian development over here in the West. You know what I mean? Mixed with European as well, because they both align at the same. And anybody else was in there that was disqualified, never good enough to join in. But there was a very good masculine forefront between the East and the West. And now that's not the case anymore, and it's exactly in that picture because of what he showed and all this other garbage coming in.
Few modern games appeal to me. And I think another big reason is this: everything is just so gay now. Compare the games I just mentioned to the modern trash we have to deal with in Overwatch and Apex. Almost every character in these new games is either gay, lesbian, bisexual, trans, or something else. Like, what happened to a masculine dude with a hot chick on his arm? I love the idea of Xbox Game Pass, but I swear every time I open it up and look for new games, there's just so many games that look gay now. I refuse to play another cutesy 2D platformer or a game with a cutesy art style by some indie developer anymore. I'm just done with these games. If you want my 100% real thoughts on this, I just think the entire video game industry has gone woke and gay, and almost nothing they are making appeals to me in any way anymore. So this is why I mostly play 20-year-old games on my channel, because they were just better. I was recently reading an insider interview about what went down at Volition Studios with the disastrous Saints Row reboot from an inside source. This source said that the LGBTQ community within the company was actually pretty small, but they are the loudest and the most annoying, and the company leadership chose to promote these people into key roles. And that's how you get the absolute dumpster fire of a game that was Saints Row 2022. I think what you have at a lot of these game studios is about
And Suicide Squad.
80% of the staff is probably just hetero dudes trying to do their job, but they're afraid of speaking up or saying what they actually think, and then you have the LGBTQ folks making decisions about what kind of game to make. And everything just ends up being safe and soft and sensitive because, oh, we can't hurt anybody's feelings. So, of course, you get these shitty dumpster fire video games that nobody wants to play. After reading a lot of insider interviews at these developers, this is my sense of what has been happening. I also feel like there's this kind of unholy alliance right now between games journalists, white liberal women at game studios, and the LGBTQ community at games.
I would say activists, right, y'all? Because that's what they are now, but we know what he means because they're not gaming journalists. We know they're activists, political activists, cancerous, deranged political activists.
Studios. And they all seem to be united around one thing. They actually hate gamers.
Yes.
And who are gamers overwhelmingly? Well, heterosexual dudes like us, of course. This recent Reddit thread was written by an actual game developer and made me realize this. It reads, headline,
Am I allowed to say this? I kind of hate gamers.
Oh.
I'm a professional game designer, and I'm worried that I'm starting to hate gamers. Watching the gaming events on YouTube last month with the chat on was extremely disheartening experience. Every time a character that wasn't a cis-het white man appeared on screen, the chats would fill with messages calling the game woke or complaining about DEI. Every game that wasn't a shooter or a hyper-casual competitive online game garnered zzz and boring comments. I've seen people implying that the MC in Fable trailers is ugly because it's a self-insert of some random level designer working at Playground whom they deemed not fuckable enough. I don't know, it's just the internet magnifying negative voices, I guess, doing what it does best. But it's making me real tired of gamers.
So at this point, it seems that games journalists and all of the liberal LGBT mafia that work at game studios actually hate their audience. And this is a comment I keep reading from you guys again and again. I swear they literally hate us. They seem to...
That's why they're trying to destroy the masculine principle. See, destroy great developers, cause layoffs. Them taking cheaper development pay and all this garbage, which is just very, very bad. And he's right. It is a mafia invasion. It's exactly what it is. Satanic gay mafia invasion. They've been doing it in music for a long time and everywhere else in the industry. Hollywood, all that. Now they're in the gaming industry. Gotta get them out. We can do it.
Seem to be dead set on giving their audience exactly what we don't want. How long is your business going to be open if you're dead set on not giving the customer what they want? This is why when skanks like Alyssa Mercante are crying about Kotaku shutting down and losing their jobs, and game studios are going under because they were associated with Sweet Baby Inc., I just laugh. Let them burn. Let all these companies burn who don't know how to give the audience. The wonderful irony in all this is that it's the very games that the woke cancel mob has tried to cancel that seem to do the best. Remember Hogwarts
she's
Legacy?
An intelligent woman.
Yeah, men who dress in women's clothes tried to get it canceled. Instead, the game sold 25
Rather
million
not have that
copies.
in my imagination.
Oops. Remember Elden Ring? Remember how the woke mob tried to accuse FromSoft games of having, quote, problematic depictions of women? Oops. Sold 25 million copies. At this point, making an offensive game seems to guarantee that game's success. We could talk about Stellar Blade, pissing off all of the liberal progressives, and yet everybody went out and bought it. Okay, so in the rest of this video, I want to give you 4 examples of a game or game series going from masculine to feminine or gay, and it basically either killed or ruined the franchise. Number 1, Ubisoft and Redstorm Entertainment.
Don't get me started with Ubisoft. And if y'all look at my channel, you'll see I covered the Assassin's Creed DEI nonsense. I've done it professionally. I have like a damn library and archive on it. It's amazing. And I've been attacking Sweet Baby Inc. and all that other garbage too. And yeah, some great stuff right here.
So Redstorm Entertainment was a video game company founded by the legendary Tom Clancy to make Tom Clancy video games. He sold the company to Ubisoft in the year 2000, and Ubisoft in the 2000s actually had some balls and made some of the manliest games you've ever seen. There were the Splinter Cell games, the Ghost Recon games, the Rainbow Six games, and the Far Cry games. All of these games pretty much feature exclusively men, and these IPs in the 2000s had so much testosterone, just a single glance from a woman in their direction would get her pregnant. I mean, motherfucking Sam Fisher, come on. The dude is the ultimate Giga Chad. Scott Mitchell in Ghost Recon. Now, you pick your own character in Far Cry 2, but it's definitely a manly game that will put hair on your chest. So what is Redstorm Entertainment up to today? Well, I recently saw that Tom Clancy's The Division Heartland is being led by a man who dresses in women's clothes in his free time. Now, look, I don't give...
And then you wonder how that happens, right? Like, how is that even possible? You think developers did that?
a shit if you want to identify as a dragon and go around laying magic eggs, but can we agree that the least masculine thing on earth you can do is dress in women's clothes? Tom Clancy would be rolling over in his grave right now if he knew the absolute disaster that Redstorm Entertainment had become. Number 2, Wolfenstein. So I was recently playing Wolfenstein The New Order for the first time, which came out in 2014. And I have to say, of all the games I was sure were going to avoid woke Western progressivism, this game was pretty high up there. The first 3 entries of the reboot were all fantastic. They had the badass BJ Blazkowicz, an absolute unit, as the main character, ripping apart entire armies of Nazis with the sexy and smart Anya as his arm candy and wife. Machine Game's first 3 Wolfenstein entries, which came out in 2014, 2015, and 2017, are all great. They have...
I've been playing them all the way back before that, man. We can go all the way back to Super Nintendo days. See?
normal men and women doing normal shit in them. Awesome. But of course, the woke mob had to get involved somehow. So you have a beloved series with a beloved, tough, male, manly main character. Do you suppose it's a good idea to kill off that guy and replace him with cringy girl boss characters? Wolfenstein Youngblood came out in 2019, and it's an absolute tone-deaf disaster. So many...
See, that's why God made them the supporting role. Man is the lead in the head. He has the masculine quality. You remove that, it off goes down. They destroy everything. It's true. It's right there in front of you, too.
In modern video games, I find myself asking, who wanted this? Who asked for this?
Nothing but witchcraft.
I often ask the same thing of the new Star Wars shows by Kathleen Kennedy as well. The Wolfenstein reboot had the perfect synergy of story and gameplay. You are BJ Blazkowicz, unleashing his rage on the Nazis for killing everyone he loved. You see this come across in his brutal assassinations, like sticking a rusty pipe through the eye socket of an SS Waffen commander. But the setup to Wolfenstein Youngblood is incredibly cringe. In it, you play as BJ's daughters, and they're honestly nothing like him. The first time you kill somebody, they don't really want to do it, and when they finally kill the guy, they have to have lattes and talk about it afterwards. Youngblood is a perfect example of how a cutscene can go so wrong in a game. BJ's setup is perfect and explains to you why you're doing the actions you're doing. BJ's daughters, however, are acting like they're in an episode of Big Bang Theory the whole time, but oh yeah, they just happen to be killing Nazis, and haha, isn't this so funny? It's tonally all over the place and just so full of cringy and awful cinematics, which is ironic because the cinematics in the first 3 games were like so good and short, and they got to the point and they were really emotional and impactful. Example number 3, Gears of War. For a
Yeah.
full explanation of how the woke mob girl bossed Gears of War, see my video on that game, but I'll keep this short. The first 3 Gears games are an incredible trilogy focusing on the bonds and brotherhood between men. They are incredibly masculine games, focusing on duty and sacrifice and military orders. And I know some of you hate this, but for 10,000 years, it's only been men fighting wars. Sorry. The first 3 games focus on Marcus, Dom, Cole, and Baird and tell a masculine story of brotherhood. Well, the progressive woke mob somehow got to Gears of War, and Gears 4 and 5 are about sisterhood, motherhood.
And the series was dying. Went down to hell. See, like, you can look at everything in the gaming industry that these scumbags and retards invade, and it all goes down. The quality goes down everywhere. The soul starts dying. Layoffs start happening. Developers are losing a shit ton of money. You see, because that's not light. That's corruption. Anybody that wants to argue against that is just somebody that's with that and can't handle the truth and gets in their feelings. Which, quite frankly, I don't give a damn.
Being a traitor, and what it feels like to be a woman. They introduced the character of Kate Diaz, who I don't think anybody gives a single fuck about. What they should have done is put Kate in a spin-off game, not a mainline Gears entry. But here's the problem, of course, nobody would have bought it. So unfortunately, Gears 4 and 5 are basically girl boss, feminist Gears of War, and any masculine story about men is put on the back burner.
And the developers knew that so much, that's why they had to make E-Day and go back to the masculine principle with Marcus and Dom and all that, because that's what it was about, you know what I mean? That's what it was at its highest peak. And those guys were real developers. Cliff Blazinski was there too, who's also very masculine. And you know, when you remove all that and you replace it with that, look at the result.
Of course, the games include Baird and Marcus in them, but they're really on the back burner. And Gears is now about Kate Diaz, who I've never talked to a Gears fan even cares about. Moving on, example number 4, the Saints Row reboot. Saints Row spent 10 years building up characters and building up a very distinctive and edgy and male sense of humor. It's the kind of stuff you and the guys would laugh at. Some of the recurring characters in Saints Row are Johnny Gat, Julius, Aisha, Shondi, and several others. In these games, the men are men and the women are women. Johnny is edgy and hilarious and always has a hot chick on his arm. The humor is crude and hilarious, and the Saints are always getting into trouble. So what went wrong with the reboot? Well, the woke 2022 reboot thought it was a good idea to kill off every single character from the old Saints Row games, and I guess they thought we would be cool with that?
So you see the idea of their mindsets? No, that's literally what it is. Destroy gaming completely and replace it with their cancer. Take the heavenly part of gaming, get rid of it, and stick hell in there. And just make it a living hell for real gamers. What else is there to talk about? Because that's exactly what it is. Where do you think all this weird shit comes from? That's what it is. Now it's in the gaming industry. It's a virus. We got to get it out. See?
But don't worry, all of the beloved characters you've come to know and love have been replaced with tokenistic characters from a literal seminar on diversity. You've got the gay Asian man, the girl boss lesbian, another girl boss lesbian, and the gay black guy. The LGBTQ mafia didn't just kill Saints Row, they crucified it on a rainbow flag. And this is what you get, guys. This is what you fuckers get for supporting these people. They turn out shitty games that aren't funny, that aren't cool, that aren't masculine. So stop hiring these people.
Do the same thing in the movie industry now. Y'all, if you grew up in my era, the stuff that's not even funny. None of these people are funny. They're all fake. These Kevin Hart, they're trash. Get out. You know what I mean? You see it. They're everywhere.
Game developers need to stop putting gay stuff in games, and they need to fire every liberal white woman if they want us to ever buy a game again. Because I'm serious, we are done with this shit.
From a Western standpoint, yes, but I support Japanese games 24/7 because, you know, they're the greatest in the gaming industry. Nintendo don't do that garbage. You know what I mean? They stick to their core. They're not corrupt by it. Japanese gaming is awesome. Besides the people that teamed up with that, and then you see what happens. Like Forspoken, when Square did that, what happened? It went right to hell and failed. You know what I mean? Suicide Squad right to hell and failed. Flintlock Siege of Dawn right to hell and failed. Every game that you see it goes into, it significantly goes down and fails big time.
We're not buying these games. Like Phil Spencer is out here complaining about how people aren't spending as much money on games anymore. I guarantee if you give us hetero dudes,
Then you wonder what happened with Halo. Like he showed you what happened. Went down. And look at what happened with Bungie. You see, when they started doing all that gay process, what happened to them? See, it's still continuing it because the invasion. You see, it destroys everything that was great.
hot chicks in games again and manly men, you will see sales go through the roof. Bring back the glory days of video games.
Ubisoft,
I have this theory that in a few years, we're going to see a turn back to the golden era of video games, and people are going to start buying games again. I recently saw this crazy chart from 2023 that basically showed that people are only playing old games these days. Nobody wants to play anything that's new out right now because it's all woke and it all sucks so bad. So anyway, guys, let's all hope there's a return of masculine characters in games again at some point that we can relate to.
Amazing video, you see? And somebody that is intelligent and aware will accept this truth and realize it. You know what I mean? This is a great video, and I'm so glad to react to this. And y'all hit that thumbs up, hit that sub button. You know what I mean? Because real gaming over here, you see what I mean? We're going to be doing some real gaming for years to come in the future. I got tons of games for y'all, amazing stuff. But all in all, yeah, good job, Andy Pants Gaming. This was amazing. Friend sent me this, so I decided to react to it. And I'm going to send it to him. He's going to like that. But yeah, I mean, it sucks. What he said is very true. And like I said, it's the biggest attack was on Western gaming. That's where it invaded the most. So yeah, we need to get them back in a position they need to be. We need to not support this garbage. All right, y'all. Have a great day, evening, night, wherever you're at. Peace out.